it's Ruth Marie Hamilton. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a large floral arrangement that you would put in front of a fireplace in summer when the fireplace is not in use. And this is really useful for anyone who is going to do a wedding at an old house or a grand hotel, because sometimes the black fireplace doesn't really look all that weddingish. So we will go through the kitchen and I will show you how to prep the roses to keep them lasting for as long as possible. Okay, so what we want to do with the roses is we want to make sure the xylem, the drinking system, which is in the stem of the rose, is nicely opened up, and then we're going to get it to suck up the cold water. So I'm just going to step across to my jug because this needs to be boiling hot water, and I'll show you what we do next. In a professional floristry, you would actually use 2 buckets for this because you'd be doing an enormous amount of roses, but this is perfectly fine for the amount I want to do. Just going to fill that up. As you can see, nice and hot, that's essential. Put that there. Take the roses. These roses are not looking so good. We had a storm last night and I really should have done this earlier, but oh well, for the purpose of demonstration, they will be fine. Now in a floristry, you actually have a little tool that you use to strip the stems of roses, but I don't need that, I'm just going to use my fingers. Again, you want to get most of the greenery off, but be aware this is not going to be a spiral bouquet, so it's not really going to have a waterline, it's going into oasis, and you will actually want some of that greenery. So just take enough off that the rose, oh, that doesn't look nice at all, that the rose can be clearly seen. And take your secateurs. Make sure you do this on an angle, that's absolutely essential, otherwise they won't be able to drink. Put them straight in the boiling hot water. Count to 30 rather swiftly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Right. Okay, now put them straight into the bucket of cold water. Now, a tip for professional florists, if you're doing this professionally and you use a chiller, do not put your flowers directly into the chiller after they have been prepped, because if you do, they won't be able to drink properly. They need to be at room temperature to sort of suck up the water, and after they've been out for around about half an hour to 45 minutes, then you can put them in the chiller, no problem. But I'm going to leave those now for about 45 minutes so they can really drink up the water, and we'll come back and I'll show you how to arrange them. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to make an arrangement that sits in a fireplace, so when it's not in use during summer it still looks lovely. If you're going to do one of these, I recommend that you actually do it in front of the fireplace, or at least get the measurements, because it makes quite a big difference to the overall size. I'm going to take a really large central piece of greenery. This is going to make my life a lot easier, and I should have shown you that, but I previously measured it so I knew where I wanted it to go. I'm going to stick this in here. I would probably like this to be a little bit higher if I could. If it could come up a bit higher, I think that would be good. But again, we have to work with what we've got. So I'm going to build up a structure with the greenery first. Just going to fill this out. This is going to be a very simple design. I'm just going to do the greenery, and then we're going to take the white roses and we're going to plonk them in attractively. This is just a simple, beautiful, elegant design that absolutely anyone could do. So I'm going to finish filling out the greenery and I'll come back and show you the flowers next. Okay, so we have here the greenery stuffed into the oasis, and you'll see there's a sort of shape going on here. It sort of fans out, and that's because it's sort of mirroring the shape of the fireplace. At least it's very complementary to it. Now at this stage with the greenery, I put in just enough to give me my line, but I don't put in heaps because we still need room for the roses. So at the end, when the roses go in, we will put a little bit more greenery in just so that you cannot see the oasis or any of the mechanics, because of course that's something we have to be very careful about. Now make sure when you do one of these arrangements that it comes down to the ground and you have pieces sticking down as well as pieces sticking up. So that's a really good foundation for what comes next. Say hello, Eureka. Say hello. He's gone remarkably silent for one that talks all the time. Here you go. I'm going to take my longest rose, this one here, and I'm going to put this in the centre at the back. I'm going to take my next two longest roses and I'm going to put them here. What we're doing is we're just creating the line for the arrangement. Very simple arrangement. Now what we need to do is we just need to stagger the roses down so we get the sense of an even display of roses all over. We don't want any bare patches. Now these are white roses, and you need to be careful when you use white flowers, because although in a Western setting white flowers are considered among the most elegant you can get because they are so understated, in other cultures they're actually considered a symbol of death and they're not considered a good omen. So the things with flowers is they are so symbolic, and this is a very human thing. This is true of every culture. Every culture has symbolism for certain flowers. So when you are working as a florist, do your research, because what can look beautiful and bridal and elegant for one culture can look like funerals and death and really quite ominous for another one. So it's just something to be aware of. So you can see this is starting to fill up beautifully, and I will come back and show you when it's done. This is looking pretty good. I'm just going to go through, and you can't see this on camera, but there are some spots that you can sort of see through to the oasis, and I don't like that. So I'm just going to stick these in just to make sure that that's all covered, and check down there. Yep, that's fine. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check my greenery, because something like that sticking out is actually ruining the line. When you do that, I'll do this up to the camera, cut close to the leaf, because you really want the leaf. So let's say this, I was going to take it off here, cut it aligned with the leaf, and that's just a lot more elegant. And then I've got a few dead rose heads in here, because as I say, these weren't in the best condition. I'm just going to go through and take those out. I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit. And it looks better that way around. And as you can see, I think this makes a rather dark space come alive. So if you can't have a fire in your grate, definitely do a floral arrangement, I say. And until next time, stay creative. Bye.